What's going on, guys? It's Jono. Today we're going to be talking about how you can build out a very simple system to make your first $10,000 online if you're selling services like SEO or digital marketing or automation or whatever it may be. So let's dive into what this system looks like. So we have a workflow here, which is essentially grabbing leads off of websites like Fiverr.com or Freelancer or Upwork. We're actually just focusing on freelancer.com for this particular video, but we're going to grab those leads and then we're going to dump them into a spreadsheet like this, right? We're going to filter for the right leads that you actually care about, the ones that you actually probably want to service, the ones that are paying enough. And then once we get those leads, you can just simply come into this website here and then you can just bid on the job with a pre-made AI response template on what you can insert in. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then we're going to be building that out right now, specifically this workflow, which is taking place in make.com. If you guys are interested in just downloading this for free, you can go ahead and do so in the description down below. These three dots down here, if you click on those, you can actually import a scenario in, and that link is going to be down below for free. Now, guys, if you like content just like this, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button down below because I will be releasing content just like this pretty much every single day. So let's get into building out a system like this for freelancer.com. Now, for those of you guys who don't know it, freelancer.com is just a way for freelancers to, and it's like a marketplace for freelancers to find clients and clients to find freelancers for online services, right? So there's tons of different work that you can do here on freelancer.com. But if you just go into skills, you have website jobs, graphic design, data entry, local jobs, international marketing jobs, and all that kind of stuff, right? So once you find out your niche from freelancer.com, right, then you can just simply build out a workflow like this that's going to automatically scrape those leads for you, dump it into a Google Sheet, and then you can just start applying. And the best part is you don't even have to build out your particular, cover letter or message, because we're going to do that using artificial intelligence. Now, we're using make.com to build out this scenario. If you haven't done so already, please sign up. It is free to use, at least at the beginning. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to build a new scenario. So let's go ahead and do that. So in scenarios, we're just going to create a new scenario here and start from scratch. Now, the first thing that we want to do in this scenario is we just want to use tools, and we're just going to not tools. We're going to use JSON, and we're going to create a list, right? So we're going to choose create JSON here. And this create JSON, we're just going to simply add, and we want to create something called an array, which is just a fancy way of saying list. So we'll call this data structure type jobs, and this will be the query, and we're going to have this as an array, right? So all we're doing is we're just coming in here, we're changing it to array, which is like a list. Think about a list of like different industries you could target: SEO, digital marketing, content writing, Google ads, Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff, right? We'll click save, come back in here, click OK, and we're pretty much good to go on the first step here. With the query, all we want to do is we just want to add in the particular queries that you're interested in, right? So what kind of industries do you want to target? So I'm going to put in SEO, and I'm also going to put in digital marketing as well. And these are the two categories we're going to be scraping jobs for. And the next thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to convert that JSON data. We're going to parse it, actually. So what this is doing is it's just taking data that isn't really readable by make.com, and it's making it readable so that make.com can actually use that data for something. So we'll run the scenario here. We're going to click run anyways. It's just giving us a warning saying transformers, which are just things that transform data, shouldn't be the end of the workflow. There should be something else that's the definitive ending. But we can just go ahead and skip that warning. And we'll come into the output here, and we can see we have two queries, right? SEO and digital marketing. And these are the two industries that we want to find leads for. So with that being said, what we need to do is we need to take those two industries and we need to find jobs, right? And how we go about finding jobs for those two industries is through an RSS feed from freelancer.com. So the catch here is that freelancer.com doesn't actually have a RSS feed that we can grab off of, but there are external RSS feeds that we can leverage to get this system working. So let's explore that. So we're going to do RSS feed freelancer freelancer.com. And I actually found it in this Reddit thread here where somebody made this nice little RSS feed here, which works, right? And we can just type in whatever industry we want. I'm just going to type in SEO here, and it's going to give us this massive list of text here, right? And all we need to know is that in this list of text, there are going to be URLs for particular jobs, right? So if we kind of come into this one, it says the title is technical SEO and on-page optimization. So that's what they're looking for. And here's the link to that particular job post, right? So this seems pretty good to me. All we need to do is copy this URL, and we need to come back into make.com. And this is where we're going to be getting the jobs from that RSS feed. I always switch the R's and the S's every single time. Maybe I'll just switch it on purpose for the rest of this video. But what we need to do next is we need to go through each one of those industries, so SEO and then digital marketing, and then we need to go to that RSS feed for each of those different industries and then get jobs related to SEO. We need to get jobs related to digital marketing, and then we need to post that into a Google Sheet. So how we can do that is we'll go into the flow control and we'll have something called an iterator. Now, remember back here, we created this list, right? And we just have a simple list. This looks like maybe gibberish to you if you aren't familiar with JSON, but our simple list is just a query of SEO and digital marketing. So first we're going to go through the SEO, then we're going to go through the digital marketing. And how we can do that is by just adding in the query right here, and it's going to run through both of these simultaneously. So now we're going to be running through both, which is pretty cool. So from there, what we can do is we just need to select the RSS feed, and we need to retrieve items from here. Right? So what we can do is we can copy this link and we're going to paste it in the URL up top here, right? And for the maximum return results, let's just do 100, right? We want to grab 100 SEO jobs. We also want to grab 100 digital marketing jobs. That seems good to me. But the problem with this URL is that it's hard-coded right now, right? So we don't want this to be necessarily hard-coded for just SEO. We want it to be a value here, right? Oops. So that we just need to remove that. And there's one last thing that we need to do, which is we need to change this URL, because if we were to type in digital marketing, it might not have the desired results. We just need to encode the URL properly here. And how we're going to do that is if we come back here and we type in digital marketing into this, they formatted it with like an underscore in between, right? So we need to replace the spaces with underscores. So in order for us to do that, we'll come back in and we'll wrap that value, whether it's an SEO industry or a digital marketing industry, we're going to wrap that value in a replace function here. And there's going to be 3 things that we need to insert in. The first is what it is that we're looking to replace, and then over the text string, and then what it is that we're trying to replace and what we're trying to replace it by, right? So we're going to add in the value. So digital marketing, we want to make sure that we replace a space, right, with an underscore. And then what that's going to do is it's going to take digital marketing with a space in it, and it's going to replace it with an underscore. We can click OK, and we'll run this once. And we're going to get tons of different results. So in the 2 here, let's go to the output. We have tons and tons and tons of different jobs here, which is pretty cool, right? So we've now gone through the RSS feed. We found a lot of different jobs. Okay, so that's awesome. Now we can just go ahead and add these into this Google Sheet here, right? So let's go ahead and let's just add them in to this spreadsheet here. But the problem is we're also not going to get the AI response yet, and we need to filter out jobs that are going to be like $2, right? So we're going to do that next, but first we're just going to add these into a Google Sheet here. So we'll select Google Sheets, and we're going to add a row. So add a row. First thing is we're going to need to connect the right spreadsheet, but I'm just going to skip over this for now just to show you guys what it looks like if I don't add in the right spreadsheet. We're going to choose the search method as select from all, and you'll have to create a spreadsheet like this if you haven't, well, obviously you haven't, so you're going to have to pause the video and just make sure to put in this header section here, right? Category, title, description, link, AI response, status, price, date, and complete. I'll also post this down below as well, I guess. And we're just going to grab this URL right? In the URL parameters, or sorry, in the URL, anything after the d/ and before the /edit, and we're going to paste that into the spreadsheet ID. It's going to automatically actually load in this particular spreadsheet here, and we're going to have this error, which is failed to load 403 permission denied. And the reason it's giving us the permission denied error is because we're trying to connect to this spreadsheet, but we don't have the authentication. We're trying to actually connect through it with one of my other Google accounts. So in order for us to get that authentication, we just need to change the connection up here to the right account, and then it's going to give us permission. Now we can select the sheet name. This is by default just going to be sheet 1. Unless you add like a million tabs down here, which most people aren't, then there's just going to be one sheet. So you don't really have to worry too much about that. And then we can just essentially take all the results that we've gotten from this RSS feed. I'm pretty proud of myself. I got it right there first time. And also the iterator, we need to map it accordingly into this Google Sheet. So in other words, we need to put the category SEO in the category section, the title in the title section, description in the description section, and so on and so forth. And how we can do that is just by clicking over these fields, and then we can select the appropriate value. So in this case, the value is going to be SEO. We're grabbing it from the iterator field here, right? So we went through that list one by one, starting at SEO, then going through digital marketing. So this could be SEO or digital marketing. And then we're just going to grab the title from the RSS feed, the description from the RSS feed, the link as well from the RSS feed. We're going to skip over the AI response for now. And then the status is going to be to do. So this is going to be hard coded in because we, at this point in time, haven't technically done it yet. The price is also going to be left blank for now. We're going to have to come back to that. And then we're going to add in a date here. So I like to prettify the dates, just make it something that's a bit legible, something like this, right? So how we can go about doing that is we'll go into the functions and click on the calendar up here. And we're going to choose format date. And the date that we're going to format is now. So we'll use the variable now. That's going to give us the exact date down to the second. And we can format it any way we want to here. But personally, what I like to do is month, then day, then year, and 3 letters for the month, and then the day and the year. So we'll do month, 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 space, day, day, and then 4 Ys for the year. And we're good to go for the date. And then complete, we can leave empty. The cool thing about Google Sheets and make.com is that essentially when you add a new row to a particular spreadsheet, it's going to actually copy down the formatting from the row above. So if I was to delete these 2 rows, it's going to copy everything like red with a red background, which obviously we wouldn't want. But once we get down to past, the header and we have something like this, it's actually going to copy the formatting here. So it'll copy this checkbox here. It'll copy this drop-down section here. And usually if you're just importing this in for the first time, these are going to be like super long because there's so much text, right? But if you just change the width of this down to back to something normal, it's going to copy that for every single row afterwards, which is super cool. So what we can do now is we can save this workflow. I'm actually just going to change this to freelancer.com RSS feed, save it again, and we'll run this and we'll just take a look and see. I'm going to force stop that because I don't want to have a million results here, but you can see that we got this result down here. I'm just going to see what's going on here. Okay, we'll try that. Yeah, okay, sweet. So we got all these results with no money in here. So that's pretty cool, right? And also with the description, it looks like it's a money field, but this is actually just the description that we got from the RSS field. So there's a bit more to it than that. So what we want to do next is we want to add in the price here, right? And not only do we want to add in the price, but we also want to filter out any results that are going to be below the price threshold that you might want to go after. So for example, maybe you don't want to target maybe you don't want to target specific projects if they're paying less than $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever it may be, right? So you'll obviously know the limit you have in your mind. And what we're going to do is we're going to filter out any projects that don't pay as much on the average bid of the project so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and we need to get that price. The only problem with that price is that there's just no exact field that says price here, which is a bit unfortunate. So we just have to do some extra work here to actually pull that price out. So we need to get from this example, for example, $926. So how we're going to do that is we're going to add another module here, and we're going to do a advanced match pattern here. So we can just do text parser. We'll add in text parser, and we're going to do a match advanced pattern. And we can leave all of these as default here. And then the text that we want to analyze is this description. And from the description, we're trying to pull something out of it, right? And we need to pull out the number, right? The average bid number. And how we do that is we need to have a pattern. And this pattern is called regex, or regular expression. Technically, it should be something that only coders could really do, right? Somebody that knows JavaScript. But the thing is now with ChatGPT, you can really easily just create regex patterns in like a click of a button and then insert it in here. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So heading back into make.com here, I'm going to transfer over to ChatGPT. And we're going to go in here and create this regex pattern. How we can do that is we're going to copy this description here. And let's just actually take a look here. Okay, cool. We're going to analyze the input here. I just want to make sure that I actually get the right information so that I understand what it looks like. Okay, sweet. So this is what it's going to look like. We're just going to copy all of this text over to here, copy that, and come back into ChatGPT and say, I want to create a regex expression to pull out the average bid number. I want to pull out the number between the $ and the /n. Here's an example of what the text looks like. Okay, cool. Now it's going to give us this pattern, which we can just copy that, and we'll come back in to this code here. We'll put the pattern there and click OK. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to add a filter here, and we're going to make sure that this fallback, it should be the fallback match, and I honestly, I don't know why it's the fallback match or the value. I would have assumed it was the value, but just sometimes it just alternates between the two. I really don't have a good answer for that. And we're just going to say this has to be greater than or equal to $500. Okay, we'll save and we'll give this a run, and it should work now. Okay, so you can see that everything stopped here. So it actually didn't end up going through. And the reason why it didn't end up going through, I'm just going to take a look at the output here and see what we're working with. So in this case, it's the value, right? So for whatever reason, it's the value this time. It's not the fallback match. So we'll enter in the value here and we'll rerun this workflow. And now you can see that out of 100, 8 actually made it through. So out of 100 jobs, there were 8 that were paying more than $500. And we just received those 8 jobs right here. So that's pretty cool. What we can also do is we can come back in here and I just want to make sure that the price also includes that value here, right? So now we've done pretty much everything, but I also want to get a AI generated response, right? Because it would be much easier and much more simple if we only had to apply to the job by clicking a couple buttons rather than having to read the description and figure out, is this, how do I write this and spending all that time, right? So let's cut down the time that it takes for you to be able to inquire for this position by automating that particular outreach message. And how we're going to do that is by adding another module here, and that is going to be ChatGPT. So we'll select ChatGPT and we're going to create a completion. Okay. Now, please keep in mind that when you're using ChatGPT, if this is your first time and you've never used it before, you just want to make sure that you have the API connection set up, and you can do that by clicking this online help here, and it's going to automatically take you to a make.com documentation to set it up, right? So log into your account and view your API keys, all that kind of stuff. and then you can go ahead and do that. The second thing is you need to add a balance. So recommend $5 so that you can spend money on this integration. If you have a balance of $0, it's not going to work. It's going to fail. And yeah, just add some money because you might be, if you don't, you might be stuck trying to figure out why it's not working properly. Okay, sweet. And the max tokens, I'm going to put 2,500. Max tokens essentially is how long the length is that the result returns. So when you ask ChatGPT to give you an application to that particular job, what's the length that it can go to? What's the max length? If you put it too short, the token amount, then it's not going to give you a response long enough. It's going to cut off halfway through, right? It might not even get to the end where you say thanks for your time and all that kind of stuff. So I would put 2,500 here, and then we just need to add in a couple different messages here. Now I'm just going to pause and return back because I've already created these, and we're just going to go over them one by one. Okay, so I have copied everything in here. Let's go through this one by one. So the first thing is we have a role, which is the user, and we're just essentially giving the main prompt here. So you're applying on freelancer.com for this job, and then we're going to pass in the title so it understands the context of what the job actually is. And then, oh my gosh, there. And I don't even know what that was. Oh my gosh, that scared me. I'm an expert in this field, which is like SEO or digital marketing or whatever. And I want to apply for this job. Please create a compelling response as to why I would be the best candidate for the role. Here's the job description. We're going to pass in the description from that RSS feed, and we're going to remove any HTML from it. So we're going to wrap the description in strip HTML so that we just remove any HTML like this BR thing here, right? So this is like bold, line break, and we're just removing all that kind of stuff. And then make sure that you have a clear intro, provide a link to the portfolio, answer any questions the client has, and thank them for the time, and then sign off. Only answer questions if they're asked, otherwise don't create questions and answer them, right? You don't want it just to answer questions for the sake of answering questions, because if you don't clarify that, even if the client doesn't have questions, it's going to answer questions that it generates itself. The assistant is going to provide additional context as to how it should be responding or answering this prompt. So please start by confidently sharing the poster of the job, that you can help them with the position while referencing the job title, and then we're going to pass the title again. Please provide a link to your portfolio. So just make sure to include your portfolio here. And then here's some questions that maybe we want to cover, right? So we can provide additional context to this prompt. It kind of gets a better understanding of who you are, what you bring to the table, and how you can really excel at this job so that it can write the best description on your behalf. So think about this as an investment. The more frequently asked questions sections you put in here, the better ChatGPT is going to be at understanding what it is that you, or how best to respond to put the best foot forward for you, right? So this is only going to benefit you. So I highly recommend you spending quite a bit of time and just making sure this is, as good as it can possibly be. But here is the basic question bank. When can you start? I can start working immediately. How many hours per week can you put in? I can work 40 hours a week. Are you looking for short-term or long-term work? I'm open to both. All that kind of stuff, right? How do you define success? Why should I hire you over somebody else? All that kind of stuff, right? And there's a couple variables here that I put in because I just don't want to answer that for you, but I would just come in here and change that. So for example, why should I hire you over somebody else? And you can just put in why that's the case. And yeah, the last thing here is system. So we just want to provide the system an update on how it should respond, right? And not respond. So first of all, just don't put in any custom variables like name or client's name, because obviously we don't want to say, hey, client's name. And then they're going to be like, what the hell? Like, obviously you generated that using artificial intelligence. I'm not going to hire you just because of that. And also don't put any HTML or markup in there as well. And this is just like styling, right, of the text. We just want it to be plain text here, and make sure that there's no additional text other than the message. Because sometimes, ChatGPT will be like, sure, of course I can help, craft the perfect message to your employer or whatever. And then you send that by mistake. And you're like, oh my God, what did I do? And then you have secondhand shame for the next 2 weeks. Let's avoid that by just making sure that this is in there. And then also, just don't use any markup. I put this twice because it seemed like the first time wasn't enough to tell ChatGPT to not do that. And then just for any lists, start it like this and do not include a subject line. Awesome. We're going to click OK, and we're going to run this once. And let's take a look at the results here. So first of all, I'm just going to delete all of these rows here. Okay, sweet. So we got our first job coming in. Here we go. And you know what? I foolishly didn't include this in the Google Sheet line here. So all we need to do is we just need to come to the AI responses. We're going to click results here, click OK, and it's now going to work. So we're just going to start this all over again. Okay, delete out of this. And we're going to run this one more time. And the results should be coming in now. So let's take a look. Okay, awesome. First one came in, 926. Hello, I'm excited to apply for the restaurant and bar ads guru position. With my extensive experience in SEO and digital marketing, I'm confident in my ability to drive more foot traffic and boost sales for your clients through restaurants and bars. Experience in advertising for the restaurant bar industry. I have strong background in running a successful ad campaign for hospitality businesses, which has equipped me with my knowledge and skills to understand the unique needs of the industry. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it kind of goes through the 4 bullet points that they're looking for. It gives answers to those bullet points. It gives the key tasks that you're going to undertake, gives the example, signs off, and thanks them for their time, and then provides the money here. If you go into one of these particular job postings, you can see the average bid up here, how many people have bid, right? Average bid and how many people have bid. You can see all the description down here, and then all you have to do is just, describe your proposal, put the bid amount, and then the project will be delivered in how many X days, and then you can submit that, and you're good to go. So that is essentially how you can automate the whole process of finding jobs through freelancer.com to help you get your first $10,000 online, whether you're doing SEO or digital marketing or whatever the case may be. This is going to really speed up the time to just get those jobs in your plate. That way you don't have to spend hours, trying to find the right work. Obviously, with a workflow like this, the more you customize it, the better the results are going to be. So I highly encourage you just to take some time, right? And go through and maybe change the filtering. Maybe you don't want certain things in a job. Maybe if it has a certain keyword in there, you filter it out or whatever, right? So just highly encourage you guys to go through that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel if you like content just like this. Also make sure to hit the thumbs up button. And if you do have any other ideas on content you'd like me to cover, please leave it down below in the description. I read all the comments, and that's a great way for me to understand what you guys want to learn next. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.